what are your expectations here for Brown and how it's going to work out?
Well, I mean, the expectations overall for this team are NBA Finals. I think that was established when they got to the conference finals and then fired the coach because they thought that that wasn't good enough. So, my expectation, though, is that it's going to start off a little rocky. I think when you're trying to introduce a new offense, especially when your idea is to take the ball out of the point guard's hands when the ball has been in his hands for basically 3 years and he's been running the show, and now you're saying he's going to be off the ball. I think there's going to be an adjustment period. So, maybe they start off a little slow. But I think overall, this team is going to be judged by what happens in the playoffs. And it kind of the path was cleared with the injuries to Jason Tatum and Tyrese Halliburton for the Knicks to make a run to the NBA Finals. And I think that's the expectation internally for this team.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I think externally, too, again, when you do fire Tom Thibodeau coming off that conference finals appearance, you're either playing in June this year or you're not. If you are, great. If not, it didn't work. So, James, I'm wondering, how have you seen Mike Brown's impact on the group thus far?
The ball's moving side to side a bit more. I think that they're trying to play faster. They're not trying to be as stagnant. Also, through 3 preseason games, they shot close to 153s. I think in the game against Minnesota, they were somewhere between 50 and 55. This team just didn't do that last year. They're not shooting the ball well, and I don't have a concern on that level with everybody that's not shooting well. Like Karl Anthony Towns hasn't made a 3 yet. I'm not worried about that. He has a long history of making 3s. Do I have some concerns about that he's only taken 5? Yeah, that's different, right? So it's a group that's going to play different. They're going to try to get the 3 ball up. I question if this is a high volume 3-point shooting team. I think they've been accurate last year on low attempts, but they don't have a lot of kind of high volume guys. So I'm curious to see how this works out. But I do think they're going to play a lot faster. I think we've seen it. We've seen the ball moving, and even defensively, Mitch was saying it's a lot different than what they're used to. It's not man to man. It has zone principles. So there's some adjustment there as well.
Yeah, going to be a big adjustment, as both of you guys noted. And I'm curious to see what this offense looks like early on and what the pace is, actually. I know that, you can manipulate some numbers, but pace is pace, and the Knicks want to play fast. I just wonder if they have the personnel to do that. They have some guys who can push the ball. Obviously, you could push it off a rebound. But in general, just looking up and down this roster, it doesn't strike me as a roster that's going to get up and down for 48 minutes and really push things. Let's see how it works out. And Steph, for you, Jalen Brunson, you mentioned off the ball. Mike Brown, Jalen Brunson, obviously Tom Thibodeau very close with Jalen Brunson, not there anymore. Mike Brown here. What have you learned? What have you made of that point guard head coach relationship so far?
I mean, I think it's been good. I think that there's an idea of what they want to do together, and Jalen Brunson has bought into that. I think when it comes down to it, the idea that you're going to play fast is more so about playing different. And the Knicks had, I think, the 5th rated offense in the NBA last year, so you're not going to kill what they did efficiency wise. The problem is when they got to the playoffs and they became predictable and they became easy to defend. And I remember talking to somebody associated with the Oklahoma City Thunder, and they were like, we would much rather see the Knicks in the finals than the Pacers. And that was because the Knicks are easier to defend while the Pacers play a bunch of different ways. So I think this is about variety. And if you play different ways, and Jalen Brunson is off the ball for the first 3 quarters, you kind of conserve his energy as well. And then once you get to the 4th quarter, you're just going to go to your bread and butter, which is Jalen Brunson, cat, pick and roll, and just go from there.
Yeah, James, I thought you asked a great question the other night because you were referencing how, teams schemed against the Knicks last year, schemed against that starting 5 with Karl Towns and Josh Hart, big on Josh Hart, wing on Karl Towns. You saw it in the playoffs too. And you were referencing a play where the Knicks didn't set up in anything. They more so pushed the ball and got something off the live dribble. And Mike Brown said, that's 100% what I'm looking for. What have you seen in terms of those opportunities, and how does that look different from maybe what we saw last year?
Yeah, I think Steph made a great point. I don't necessarily think when we hear fast, I don't think we're going to mean they're going to be Tyrese Halliburton up the floor. I've been looking. There have been times when they've broken half court within like 21 seconds, which is like a major improvement too, right? But I think when you talk about playing faster, it's getting the ball moving side to side, just not sitting there and dribbling splinters out of the hardwood. And I think that group got a little too used to that last year because they did have success, and they knew at the end of the day they were just more talented than most of the teams they faced. And yeah, the offense was ranked fifth, so we can't kill the efficiency, but it was pretty bad and pretty average from January 1st on. And they just struggled, even when it was good, they struggled against defenses that were good, right? Like teams that had multiple versatile defenders. They just got very stagnant. So I think Brown's biggest thing when playing fast, yes, he'd like to get them up and down the court quicker, but getting the ball moving, like just not letting it stick. And I think that's a way when you're watching it and observing, they're playing faster.
That's a great point. Great point. So it's not necessarily the pace, bottom line pace, but you watch how they move in the half court. Maybe that's faster. And, everything is very positive in preseason. Everybody's 0-0. And so I think it's hard to make much of Mike Brown's, impact off the court on the locker room. But, everybody's talked about how communication has been there. Mike Brown's first conversations with these guys were about life, had nothing to do with basketball. So he's obviously made an effort to connect with everybody on the roster. And to me, that's a big thing. It's something that you can't quantify, but if there's trust built there over this season between Mike Brown and the top players on the team, then, I think it's going to show itself on the floor. Mikal Bridges talking the other night about how he's going to hold you accountable, Mike Brown. I've heard he's gotten loud at times with some of the top players on the team in terms of correcting mistakes. And Mikal Bridges said that's what we need. He does it in a respectful way. And Bridges was talking about how he appreciates that. So just something interesting to note there so far with Brown